Hi guys, and welcome back, or welcome if you've never been here before. I am Aspen, and this is my channel, Biblical Nature. I have an exciting video for us today, and actually, I'm so happy to say that this is my 100th video on YouTube. I'm so happy about it, and so I wanted to do a super fun, super special video for you guys. And so I've recently gotten a few questions in the comment section about what is the Bible? Can you do an in-depth, kind of description of the Bible, what it is, and all of these things. So I'm here today to tell you guys what is the Bible, what is the main things that you guys should know about it, and just some cool facts that I think you guys should know. So let's get straight into the video. So the Bible is compiled of 66 different books, 39 from the Old Testament and 27 from the New Testament, which are written by about 40 different authors. The Bible is broken up into two different testaments. There's the Old Testament, which is before Christ, and then there's the New Testament, which is during and after Christ. For all the nerds out there who really want to get into this, it is written in 3 different continents of the world, in 3 different languages, in the time span about 15 to 16,000 years. So now you kind of know the basis of it, but let's get a little bit more into it. There are these 2 things that a lot of people hear about and they're like, oh, I know what these are, but they don't really. And some people assume that they're not even a part of the Bible. So I'm going to tell you guys about the Torah and the Gospel. So the Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible, which are the law of God revealed to Moses. And if you want to know what these books are, they are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And this is a really important part of Jewish law and Hebrew law because they really focus on the Torah. And this is what, back in the day when Jesus was alive, this is what they followed and what they memorized and all that stuff. So now the gospel is actually translated into the word good news in Greek. And so it is literally the good news of Jesus' life, and it was recorded during Jesus' life by his disciples or by eyewitnesses of Jesus' life. So if you want to know what these books are, it is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and technically I would say Acts, because Acts is just technically a part 2 of Luke. But it is just after Jesus' death and after he's gone back to heaven. So most people don't include it in the gospel, but I would say it definitely is a part of the gospel. And with the history of the Bible written into 15 to 16,000 years, I want to say that the oldest book was written about 3,400 years ago, or 1450 BC. And then the newest book of the Bible is written about 19,028 years ago, or 95 after death. So now that you kind of know what the Bible is, what the basis of the Bible is, and that it's written by 40 different authors and all these fun facts, I want to share with you a little fun fact about the authors. So I've gotten questions before, in my fun Bible classes at my church, and some people are like, who wrote the most of the Bible? And well, actually, you can break this down into 2 questions. So Moses actually wrote the most words in the Bible, but Paul wrote the most books in the Bible. So if somebody ever asks you who wrote most of the Bible, you can say, well, do you want to know who wrote the most words or who wrote the most books? Because if so, that will differ your answers. Okay, so now that we know pretty much all that I wanted to share about the Bible, I'm going to teach you guys how to read the Bible in an incredible way that I recently actually learned that I've fallen in love with. And so I'm going to teach it to you. It's called the SOAP method. So how you do the SOAP method is you write horizontally on a piece of paper the word SOAP. And what this stands for is scripture, observation, application, and prayer. In S, you are going to write a scripture that stood out to you in the passage that you read that day. And then in observations, you're kind of going to write what you get from the Bible verse, what you understand, kind of what you got from this passage, and just what spoke out to you the most. Then in application, you are going to write how you can apply this passage into your life. And then in prayer, what you are going to write is just a quick prayer to God about the passage, anything that comes on your heart you can write, just whatever you feel is best for you to write in the prayer. And that is a really easy way to study the Bible, and it is really efficient, especially if you are a beginner. But you also may be like, well, I have no clue where to start in the Bible, so I'm going to tell you my top favorite books of the Bible to start with if you are a beginner and you want to start getting into the Word, but you're a little intimidated by it. These are some incredible books to read that I would definitely recommend. So I really love Romans. It is such an incredible book about how to live a Christian life and how to live according to what God would want you to live. Obviously, I would love for you guys to start with the gospel, because the gospel is about Jesus' life, and it just helps you know who Jesus is as a character, because Jesus really is the most, in my opinion, the most important part of the Bible. So why not start with him? And so my favorite parts of the gospel is I would read John, because somebody actually pointed this out to me in the comments. Shout out to them, they are amazing. It is the most theological gospel, and it shares a lot about Jesus' life, and it's really easy to understand, and it's a really good one for beginners to learn about Jesus' life. Though I will say my favorite gospel is Matthew, but that is mostly because I love information, and Matthew loves sharing all of this information about Jesus and like word for word what he has to say, and I really love it. It's just so easy to understand and connect with, and I'm actually currently reading it. I'm almost done, and I'm so happy I started reading it. It's probably one of my favorite books in the Bible. Some more books I would recommend is if you want to feel your emotions with God because your life is kind of all over the place, I would definitely suggest you to read Psalms. Psalm is one of the more poetic books in the Bible, and it's really fun to read, I will say. It's also fun if you want to do this thing called singing scripture. You kind of just pull up like audio, or if you can play any instrument, you just play an instrument and you can like read out the passage or sing out the passage that you are reading. I've recently started to do this, and it actually is really, really fun. And so I really love doing that with the Psalms. But if you don't want to, you can absolutely just read it. It's completely fine. Wherever you start, however you start, as long as you are connecting with God and his word. Another book of the Bible I would highly suggest you to read is Proverbs. This is the book of the Bible that has so much wisdom to implement in your life, and I truthfully love Proverbs. I'm trying this thing where you read one proverb a day, because there are 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs, and there's most times 31 days in a month. So it's quite fun to read one chapter of wisdom a day, and it's just a really good book to read if you are seeking wisdom from God. But yeah, I really liked that book of the Bible. Thank you guys for studying what the Bible is with me. I hope this helped you guys and helped you understand the Bible more. I love you guys so, so much, and I hope that you guys have an incredible day, and thank you so much for watching if you did. If you watched till this moment, please comment this emoji down below so I know who the real ones are. Okay, I love you guys, and I hope you have an incredible day. God bless.